safe and sound. I can lift you up. I can show you what you want to see and take you where you want.
No mai hoki mai and welcome back to breakfast. It is 12 minutes to 8. Pay negotiations between nurses and te whatu ora are ongoing, but both sides are currently locked in a stalemate. Last week saw members of the New Zealand Nurses Organisation attend stop work meetings to discuss a pay offer. On the table, a $4,000 pay rise this year, followed by either 3% next year or $2,000, whichever is higher. So how did those meetings go? Well, healthcare assistant and union delegate Alistair Detchen joins us this morning. Morena, Alistair, thanks so much for being with us. Now, you said those meetings went better than expected. How so?
Yeah, well, there was over 57 around the country, and they were better than expected, especially considering how difficult it was to get members released. The majority of them had like a lot of big meetings with over 500 members attending. The one here in Canterbury was probably about nearly 700 members there. So yeah, it was better than expected.
Yeah, you know, it's one thing to hold a hui, to have a meeting, but it's another thing to actually feel like you're being heard. Do members feel like they're being heard? Oh, Alistair's frozen. There we go. Oh, you're back with us now, Alistair.
Yeah, well, no, members don't feel like they're being heard, actually. You know, members are pretty angry. They're exhausted. You know, we've been screaming for some time now that this health system is broken and it needs repair, but it feels like we're not being listened to. Yeah,
and I know, you know, pay negotiations are one thing, but actually the other part of this equation is the fact that you guys are overworked and there are staffing issues. So talk to me about how staff are feeling at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's right. Pay is one thing, but there's you know, very important issues that we are concerned about that we want addressed is the short staffing. I mean, most areas are sort of like under the pump every day, shortages of staff. You know, ED departments, emergency departments that are kind of producing record numbers of patients coming through in a shift. And yeah, NZNO members are tired and they're exhausted and they've had enough of the lack of respect and the undervaluing of the nursing profession. And yeah, we want to see change. We want to see massive improvements.
Alistair, how far apart is the union and te whatu ora? As I said in the introduction, on the table's a $4,000 pay rise this year, followed by either 3% next year or $2,000, whichever is higher. How far apart are the two parties?
Well, I mean, I'd probably say fairly well apart because the wage claim was looking at a cost of living sort of based on inflation. That pay claim has gone, you know, nowhere near that. But there's other important claims that we put forward that haven't even been considered, which is the ratios, you know, nurse to patient ratios, which is very important as a safety net below the CCDM trend care. There's also the health and safety, you know, like we've seen in the last year, quite a number of emergency departments around the country put PIN notices in using health and safety legislation to address the very unsafe and dangerous conditions for staff and patients alike. And those PINs have not really achieved a lot. We just saw recently in the last week or two, the Gisborne nurses in Ward 5 did a health and safety strike. And, you know, we may see more of those because things are actually getting worse since a lot of those PIN notices were put in and something needs to give.
Alistair, we so appreciate your time this morning. We wish you well. All of us do, because it's our healthcare system that we're talking about. So we so appreciate your time. Alistair Detchen, union delegate, joining us this morning. Thanks, Alistair.